Am I the a-hole for cutting off my parents after they blamed me for my twin brother's death? I, 18M, was born an identical twin. From the moment Cam and I came into the world, people always described us as two halves of the same whole. We shared almost everything: cribs, toys, clothes, rooms, even our friends in preschool. People loved to comment on how inseparable we were, and in a lot of ways, it was true. But when Cam was 4 years old, everything changed. He was diagnosed with cancer, and from then on, my life became something I didn't recognize anymore. Our parents dedicated every single second of their lives to saving him. After about a year of failed treatments, doctors told them his illness was terminal, but they refused to accept it. They searched endlessly for another answer, another miracle. They got second, third, fourth, even fifth opinions. They traveled out of state for doctors who claimed they could help. They signed him up for clinical trials, some of which made him so sick he could barely move afterward. They borrowed money from family, friends, and neighbors, and eventually took out huge loans just to keep going. They convinced themselves that if they didn't fight with everything, they were letting Cam down. In all of that, I disappeared. Our bedroom stopped being ours. It became Cam's sanctuary. We had a bunk bed, and he got the double-sized bottom bunk while I was stuck up top. The walls were redecorated with his favorite cartoon characters, which didn't even interest me. Our clothes were identical again, but this time chosen entirely based on what he liked. Our birthdays, which were supposed to be shared celebrations, turned into his special day. I was expected to just go along with it. Even when Cam tried to include me because he really did love me, our parents wouldn't allow it. They wanted all attention, all joy, all celebration to revolve around him. I was a child too, but I became invisible. At night, they'd hover over him constantly, giving meds, checking vitals, watching his breathing. If I woke up or asked what was happening, they ignored me like I didn't exist. Sometimes I'd go to school so exhausted I'd fall asleep in class, but it didn't matter to them. My life revolved around Cam's illness, not around me being a kid. Then came the night that changed everything. I was 7, and Cam asked me to share his bed. He was scared, and of course I climbed down to be with him. We fell asleep side by side. That was the night he passed away. When our parents found out in the morning, they didn't see two little boys who just wanted comfort. They saw me as the reason they missed his last moments. They accused me of robbing them of the chance to be there when he needed them most. They screamed, yelled, and raged at me like I was some kind of villain. I was 7 years old, but they looked at me like I was guilty of something unforgivable. From that moment on, my existence became defined by what I wasn't. I wasn't Cam. Our shared bedroom turned into a shrine. His bed was frozen exactly the way it was that night. The same bedding, the same setup, untouched for years. I wasn't allowed to sit on it, let alone sleep there. If I even looked too long at it, they snapped at me, saying I was trying to take what wasn't mine. For a decade, they repeated that same cruel refrain. That bed belongs to Cam, not you. When I was around 13, I finally worked up the courage to ask if we could redecorate. I wanted a space that reflected who I was becoming, a teenager, not a scared little boy trapped in his dead brother's shrine. Their reaction was explosive. They screamed, accused me of trying to erase Cam, of hating him, of being selfish. They shouted that I didn't love my brother, that I was trying to destroy their grief. They moved like they might hit me, and I froze in fear. After that, I never asked again. Even when I suggested moving to a different room, just so I could breathe, they refused. They insisted I had to stay in Cam's room because it was where I belonged. Living there felt suffocating, like I was surrounded by death every day, forced to carry a grief I wasn't allowed to express in my own way. The truth is, I always preferred to honor Cam on our birthday. It felt right to remember the bond we shared, not just the day we lost him. But my parents didn't care. They completely ignored our birthday every year and only focused on his death anniversary. Whenever I tried to acknowledge the birthday, they accused me of disrespecting his memory. Over the years, the accusations piled up. They told me I never cared about Cam. They said I was selfish, heartless, that I abandoned them in their grief. Every time I tried to explain that I just grieved differently, it was twisted into proof that I didn't love him enough. Even when other people tried to step in, my parents wouldn't listen. They didn't want help. They didn't want to heal. They only wanted me to be a carbon copy of their grief, even if it destroyed me. The breaking point came this year. The day before my 18th birthday, I packed a bag and went to stay with a friend's family. I couldn't handle it anymore. I haven't been back since. I haven't blocked them, and when I see them, I don't pretend they don't exist. But every time I do, it's the same story. Accusations of abandonment, guilt tripping, reminders of how I failed Cam and them. And maybe they're right. I did abandon them, but I did it to survive. I can't keep living my life shackled to their grief, constantly told that the way I honor my twin is wrong. So now I'm asking, am I the whole if I cut them out completely and chose to live my life without their constant punishment hanging over me?